People, deluded. If you're not going to take anything away from my videos, people, make sure you download the OneFootball app. It's a terrific application developed by the guys over at the OneFootball Network. Make sure you visit my description for more of that. If you don't want to do that, go on the OneFootball Network website. It's a terrific application, people. I can't just say that enough, and I'm not just saying that for the sake of it. Why I like it? It allows me to stay on top of every bit of information there is in regards to football. It doesn't matter if it's transfer speculation, results, fixtures, manager talking points, player talking points. They have everything covered, and the sheer velocity and in-depth of some of the content, you can't put a price on it, people. The one big feature I like out of everything, when it comes to transfers, they've got it on top. They tell you exactly where the rumour or the information was first brought out, more or less. And it tells you how the strength of the rumour. And it also tells you what that could mean for the team moving forward with fellow supporting articles. It is the #1 application for the general football fan. And in fact, not even the general football fan, the honest football fan. The fan that really loves football. If you really love football, you'll download the OneFootball app, people. Because for me, it is the best on the market. Like I said, link is in the description. Visit their website. Link is in the description. Link is in the description. Link is in the description. People, I don't want you lot to do yourself a disservice, and you lot are the real followers because you follow me. Make sure you download the OneFootball app. People, deluded, I'm out. People, deluded, I'm back again. The man who talks way too fast, the man who has no commas or any punctuation when he speaks. Yeah, I can not take myself seriously, and I can laugh. And I'm aware of all these comments, people. I am trying to improve as a person. I am aware of my faults, but it is what it is. Now I'm here to speak about a bit of a mix and match. I know I haven't spoken officially about Xhaka officially becoming captain, so I offer my thoughts on that. Wanted to offer just some brief notes in regards to Man United. And I was reading, like I said in my podcast, I was reading the Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest programme, and Martinez came up in this, and I would like to speak about Martinez, to be fair with you. We'll leave that for a sec as I really should have left it on the page. In fact, let me find that now, people. Apologies. And for those of you, I'll give you a quick insight, people. I found it. I actually hate to do this with anything I have. I hate man that do this with books. I hate it. I hate this. Like, don't ask me why we all hate weird things for no reason, people. But in regards to Xhaka, now Xhaka's officially become captain. I know. We know, people. We know what people think about Xhaka. People have made their beds in regards to Xhaka. You think he's good, you think he's rubbish, or you just can't see what we ever saw in him. And I do think that goes against him, because more often than not he does make mistakes, but at times it does go borderline into scapegoating. Not just him, with several other players. For instance, you lot know me. I'm not going to say I don't like Mustafi as a person. Clearly I'm not talking about that. But I don't like Mustafi as a player, on top of just not playing well. But if he plays well, I'm going to give it to him. And there was a game last season, was it Rennes away? When Xhaka and Guendouzi made that mistake away when we lost that initial game, and Mustafi was to blame. People were blaming Mustafi, and it weren't Mustafi's fault. He is poor, but he weren't poor that game. Do you get it? So it's important. I don't like scapegoating in it, people, and I do believe with football and agendas and obviously personal feelings, certain people can't take that away from the game. See how I just said Mustafi, he's poor, he needs to go and whatnot, but I recognised he had a good game, and I know you lot do too. But there's people out there that, whether Xhaka has a good or bad game, they're not going to give him any credit, and it's still going to feed into that. Now, for Xhaka, it's a boost of confidence with Emre. It's almost Emre and Xhaka against the world sort of thing, in the sense that if it was up to the fans, I know the players apparently had some insight and input in regards to the captaincy, or the 5 captains and whatnot. But if it was up to the fans, which is not, Xhaka would probably not be captain. If it was up to me or you as managers, I'm pretty sure you wouldn't have Xhaka as the captain. I do think Xhaka is a leader of sorts. I do like Xhaka's mentality. I do like that he never cowards. But for me, he just wouldn't be my captain. He just wouldn't be. I believe your captain has to be consistent and reliable. 2 things, for as much as I like Xhaka, he lacks, people. I like Xhaka. I don't think he's a terrible footballer. I think he makes terrible decisions. I think he should be a rotation option at best. I don't think he should start week in, week out. And I can't see why Emre does that, and Wenger previously. Now, they've both got their coaching badges. They see what Xhaka offers way more than I'll ever be able to comprehend. So fair play. But I don't see it. Now, before I started waffling, in regards to Xhaka and Emre against the world, I mean, it's almost to a degree, you obviously have to care about the fans' opinions. But anyways, the fans' opinions matter, but they don't, in the sense that a professional footballer, you cannot go on Twitter or listen to fans on the streets and regard their opinions of you. You have to, if your manager, all that really matters is if your manager thinks you're a good or bad player, because that's how you play football. And if your manager thinks you're a bad player, you're not going to have the confidence to be at the club or play. If he thinks you're a good player, you're going to play and have confidence and whatnot. So as long as Emre believes in him, that's all to a fair degree Xhaka should almost only care about. And obviously, it's a boost of confidence if the fans don't want you, but the manager is insisting that you're the guy. You might want to ride for him a bit more, sort of thing. Ride for the manager, and that might kind of, because he's now captain, that might probe Xhaka to kind of go back and see the repeated mistakes he makes and try and get them ironed out of his game. I'm being a bit optimistic in that regards, but yeah, I do think it's a very dangerous game. Emre kind of putting all his eggs in Xhaka's basket, because I do think he'll let you down. I don't want that to happen, but I just don't think Xhaka has it in him to be consistent over a sustained period. He has had some periods, to be fair, even last season where he was playing quite well, and he has had some games good this season. But we all know, as much as you believe Xhaka is good or not, we all know his good games will be whispered about and his bad games and the clangers will be mentioned, people. Xhaka, like, one thing I'll give him is he's a leadership. He's got the leader qualities. And if Emre deems that he's the guy for him, then he's the guy for him at this point. You just have to get behind it. There's no point causing division. And as much as we have our personal opinions on Xhaka, fans can boo if they want, but we need to be very balanced with how we boo and things like that. I do think it's very dangerous, and he is our captain. It's completely irrelevant, but you've even heard fans are going on his pregnant wife's Instagram account and abusing Xhaka via her and probably making personal comments about her. Now, that's an extreme example, and we all know how football fans are special, and especially the cows that get to hide behind social media. Apologies for the wind, people. I guess the wind's agreeing with me, but we just have to get behind Xhaka. I think it's a hell of a hill to die on. I think potentially this is the sort of thing that potentially costs managers their roles at the club. I just hope it kicks Xhaka to want to improve and whatnot and get the best out of him, to be fair with you. It is what it is at this moment in time. For me, Xhaka, I like how he doesn't like to be roughed up, but just learning from mistakes, the consistency, the lack of agility, just many things I can't see as to why he should be captain. He seems to be the guy, and maybe and I do think Emre's been a bit smart, because I do think him and Ozil are on talking terms. But why would you name Ozil captain? What realistic reason is there to name Ozil captain if he's not really going to be a part of the team or marginalised? Is that to kind of keep some of the dressing room, who we did hear became discontent when he was out the side last season, in check? Xhaka's, I don't know if he's a big voice in the change rooms, but he's Emre's man. He's Emre's lieutenant, or more or less his eyes and ears. Is he kind of, okay, cool, you kind of tell me what's going on in the dressing room, sort of thing? I don't know, people. If I haven't said it already, Lacazette, Bellerin, Aubameyang and Ozil together with Xhaka will make up the captains. Now, admittedly, people, there's not really, if we're completely honest, there's not really one consistent, outstanding choice to be captain at this club right now. Let's keep it 100. I know you lot all agree. That could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing. I'd say it could be a good thing is because in an extreme example, if you look at the Valencia, the Invincible side, isolate them, you can see 11 captains. But throw them all together, yes, Patrick or whoever had the band on, but could you really differentiate who is the captain in a positive light? And that's what they should all stand for, really. It's nice to see Aubameyang got it. Hey, shut up, man, Wind. It's nice to see Aubameyang got it because he leads by example of just doing his job to the best of his abilities. Whatever you say, the man scores goals. I believe Lacazette should have been in with a shout because he's on playing big games. He's not scared either, and he's done it at Lyon, which is a big club in my opinion. They might not be the Lyon of old, but they're a very well respected club. They've got a big fan base, and they're very passionate. Bellerin obviously came through the academy of sorts via Barca. We know he's Spanish, but he's as North London as it gets, really. I mean, he's more North London than Maitland-Niles and Nelson, who are from the east and the south, respectively. So it's a good one. Obviously, Bellerin's a popular figure. Fellow Spaniard like Emre. You kind of want to see Bellerin come into a new sort of dawn at his club now. He's not short-haired, vapour-wearing Bellerin, which was one of the youngest in the side. Technically, he might be one of the youngest in the side now because I don't actually know, but in fact he won't because it's a bit mixed and matched. But he's one of the most experienced players now. If we're looking at players who get it at Arsenal, it should be Bellerin. Number of years now. I'm sure he wants to elevate himself to a higher standard and potentially get into the Spanish side. So it's now down to him to come into his own and stay fit and whatnot. Mesut Ozil already spoken. personally, it's a shame Holding didn't get a look in. For me personally, I would have liked to have seen that. I know Guendouzi's young. Guendouzi might have a wild card sort of thing. Who else is there? I did think either Luiz or Socrates between the two of them, because you'd expect, if not both of them, one of them will feature heavily under Emre, and they're both on paper experienced, not just because of age, versus the clubs they've done and their years that they've put into football. So I did think that was going to happen. I do think we might sit here in a couple of years and say Kieran Tierney. I know a lot of you that watch me were like, Deluded, how can you say Kieran Tierney can be captain? He's early. Why can't people listen? I clearly said in all these vids, it's going against all my logic. I know it's too early and I'm waffling, but I would love to see him be captain. And I do think that's one maybe next season we can look at, or the season or the season beyond that, because he's 22, he's been at Celtic, he seems to have that mentality and he seems to be a steady Eddie. I don't want to gas a man based on playing against Nottingham Forest in a game we was expected to win and weren't troubled too much. But yeah, finally I might as well play to you what Emre said, pardon me, on Xhaka. And he said, in regards to why he believes he's the best man for the job. First, he is mature, he has the experience, and we are living all the time under pressure, under criticisms as coaches, as players, and as a club. The most important thing is to stand up in each moment, go ahead and show, and the brackets in this article made it appalling to read, but apologies people, it said in each moment to go ahead and to show his quality with his behaviour, with his commitment, and in the dressing room the players voted for him as the first. Now again, we'll never truly know if they actually did. I mean, if Xhaka's their guy, Xhaka's their guy, and if they did vote and Xhaka won the most votes, then cool, but potentially is it a thing where Emre asked them to vote and told them their input was needed, but took their votes to see, kind of gauge where their heads up as a camp? For instance, okay, Aubameyang's got, 20 votes, he's a popular figure, Xhaka's got 2 votes, I want him to be my captain, but only 2 people believe in him. Are they going to gravitate towards him, sort of thing? I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but you never truly know people. We're obviously going to be told the players picked Xhaka, but who knows people? Who really knows? Who really knows, man? I mean, I don't care what people say. I know United and Arsenal, for example, playing each other on Monday and are falling behind. But there's a couple players in them sides that are too big to wear the shirt. I'm wearing the old season. The other ones are in the wardrobe. But these are heavy shirts, people. Historically heavy shirts. And imagine how heavy this shirt is. Like United, how for them, this shirt is heavy. And then the captain band makes it heavier. So if you can't stand up to be counted, it is what it is. It's not really a shock because we already knew Xhaka was going to be captain, people. I mean, he's been captain in, 6 or 7 games. He's been captain in all but name. He's been a regular player for the team. He's captained the side many times. And happy belated birthday, Xhaka. But what really changed the day it was announced to the day before? What really has changed? So do your thing, Xhaka, man. And he's also said, after I spoke with him, and we want to change that opinion outside because that respect that he has inside the dressing room is very important, and also to keep moving ahead, playing, improving, and with behaviour and each commitment. Each match for him, for me, for everyone, is a very good opportunity to show our capacity. I trust and believe in him, and he is a good man, a good professional, and a good player. Sometimes he has made a mistake, yes, but the most important thing is to analyse and to learn and to correct that in the future. His challenge and our challenge is to change that opinion and above all, show personality and improve in each match and give us his help every time. The first match is on Monday against Man United, which ironically he has played a good game at Old Trafford a couple of years ago, and obviously at the Emirates he's been part of a couple of winning teams in games like this. It's obviously a defining period for Xhaka as a man now because he's 27 years of age, just turned that. Xhaka's a professional athlete, so I'm sure he thinks the similar way. When it's my birthday, I quantify my life, what I've done, what I haven't done, what I feel I'm good at and what not. And I'm sure many males in particular have the same thing, hence why you always hear 40-year-olds crisis and things. It's important to critique ourselves. I believe Xhaka will do that. And now you're looking at it, he's been here for a couple of years. He's officially captain now. He's not really in the best of form. He's just turned 27, so he should be in his sort of finished product as a professional footballer. He's got a young family now to think about, really. So it's now time to see a new sort of Xhaka. He's got a lot to take on. And he's also, obviously, in regards to his wife being pregnant, hopefully there's no complications, a baby is a blessing. But he's spoken indirectly about potentially stepping away from football briefly for that. I don't know if that's a week or 2 or whatever, I'm just speculating. But that's it in regards to Xhaka. moving on to Martinez, people, and I really like Martinez, and it's a good story, people. I think this story shows that when you have a good thing going for you, you shouldn't always necessarily stay there, because it might change, even though you never know what would happen. And also, what scares us can make us grow as a person. Long story short, I'm going to read it out to you, people. But we all know he's been here for 10 years or over 10 years now. He arrived as a 17, anything from 16 to 18 years of age, as a man, 16-year-old or something like that. As a boy, new to the country, couldn't speak English, or anything beyond Spanish to my knowledge. He's come on the other side of the world from South America to London. He's built a name for himself. Okay, fair enough. He's not been a regular at Arsenal, but he's been here for a period, a significant period of time. One of the longest serving players on the books currently, technically. He's grown as a man. He's gone out on loan and grown as a man in terms of footballing. He's obviously got a wife and got children and just matured as a man in this nation as well. So he's grown physically and mentally and whatnot. I like his mentality. This man is hell-bent on becoming Arsenal's #1. Whether I believe he can do it or you, it is what it is. But it is I love to hear it. He for a number of years he's been obsessed with it, and he is still obsessed. He genuinely believes he's better than Leno. And I don't know who's better, to be fair. I don't think one's glaringly better. Leno will be my first choice. But I like to hear that, people. Martinez has a nice mentality. Long story short, he moved to England, but truthfully didn't want to. He did it because his family was struggling financially. And that's what a lot of these, not just South American footballers, but footballers have to deal with in general. If he didn't make that move, would he be earning the money and probably doing what he needs to do for his family now? If Mane didn't... I don't advocate Mane's story. I've read a story that Mane ran off from his home in Senegal and just got on a plane or whatever to France and called his family saying, yo, listen, I'm here. I don't advocate that, but that's a bit extreme. But you see how that can make you grow. If he didn't go do that, would he be this idolized person, which is Mane? And obviously Mane does a lot for charity, both in his homeland and elsewhere. He's a very good man. He's a very good, very model, very guy. He's very religious. He goes to the mosque in Liverpool with the community and whatnot. You see all the pictures. He deals with all the charities and stuff. Mane's a good person. But would Mane have been Mane and been able to do this if without the financial means as a result of taking that leap to France? And then obviously he's played in France and Austria, and now he's a Champions League winner at Liverpool. This is grind. This is what football's about for me, people, because it's not a game to some people. You have to play football with a smile, but this is a way to uplift yourself out of poverty. It's completely, obviously it's different from these youths that grew up in London and stuff, but I see myself in my bedroom and whatnot, and then I see Raheem Sterling, Maitland-Niles, Iwobi, Jadon Sancho, Nelson. I'm happy to see this, because what would they be doing if not? We all know there's certain things that you can fall into. I'm not saying they would, but there's similar to these lot. I love to see it, man, because I think football is a way of escaping poverty for us normal folk, whether you're in Latin America, South America, or in England like us. Obviously we're not as in poverty as, I saw an article that Tevez was playing football for burgers. So I'm not saying that. But what he's actually said is, in relation to his move, and I should say he's actually moved twice in his career. He moved from his home to Argentina's capital, Buenos Aires, at 12 years of age. But he said, I was brave because I moved from my house to Buenos Aires when I was 12. And the decision I made was for my family. My dad couldn't afford to pay the bills, and to be honest, I didn't want to come here. He's referring to Arsenal now, people. I didn't want to come here. I didn't want to leave Argentina because I was only 16, 17 when I flew from Buenos Aires to London. I was with Pablo Butner and Pepe Santorio, the Independiente goalkeeping coach, and I just said to them on the plane, I'm not sure if I want to stay because it was hard to move. I was already training with the first team already at 16. I was a promising youngster. They used to call me Marvelous Martinez at Independiente. But my dad was struggling. My whole family was struggling. Obviously, I knew Arsenal because I loved football and I watched their games on TV. The decision was to help my family and to see how I got on. But as the seasons went on, I started loving the culture, started loving the club, started believing in myself. When I arrived, I had 9 keepers in front of me. But there's one thing that I've got, and that's always belief in my abilities. I've always said that I didn't know if it would take 1 month or 7 years, but I'll be the #1 here. Lovely mentality. That's what I'm saying. It's not a game for him. He's seen real struggle. So what is competing with keepers on a football field? I love to hear that sort of thing, people. I really love to hear it. And it shows many stories. He was comfortable. He was, and we all would. If I was 16 in the first team at Independiente, they all call him Marvelous Martinez. He probably would have gone on and played for them. But let's just say he got an injury or another manager. He could have been sat there and thinking, what if I did go to Arsenal? What would have happened? Again, his career could have been better if he stayed in Argentina. But you can't deal with what ifs. Either way, for me, he put on for his family, so I can't not applaud that. And there's people, I know football is a crazy game and people call them money grabbers, but as much as I think sometimes it's immoral, I can't blame people. I know stories personally of 14-year-olds that are signing for clubs that they don't want to sign on because their parents are broke and it's a meal ticket out of the struggle, people. They're offering their mum and dad jobs, housing, private schooling, big signing on fees. Certain times it's happening for kids as young as 10 and 12, you know. So again, football is immoral, but this is the belly and the beast. I understand it sometimes, people. I understand it. At the end of the day, he said he was helping his mum and dad with the bills and whatnot. At 16, that's what we all want to do. I can't speak for everyone, but I'm sure most honest professionals, all you wanted to do, even now, is just put on for your family. Just make whether your family is your parents or your younger ones, you just want to make someone's path easier or just ease the burden of struggle. And I love to hear that, man. And that's where these sort of footballers like Martinez are different. It don't mean you're gonna go off to have a great career, but football's not a game for these man. These men have the hunger. You can't even pronounce it. And I really like his story, man. And I hope you do it, man. Because if I was different, them sort of things there make me teary, people. I might just go. So big up yourself, Martinez, man. Finally, people, I just wanted to offer some thoughts on a very quick one. One sec, let me find it. I saw some Man United notes. I've spoken about Man United at length already, people. The one thing I will say is, though, we cannot be scared and we cannot go in there trying to be defensive for 90 minutes. That Manchester United's pitch at Old Trafford is massive. We haven't got the most athletic of players. You see where I'm going with this, people. But in regards to Man United, I've actually got some Xhaka stats as well, people. Some Arsenal stats as well. Arsenal haven't won away at one of the big six since January 2015. Is that for real? Raw. Since then, they have won none, drawn 8 and lost 15. In those 23 games, they have scored 25 goals and conceded 53, keeping just one clean sheet. So again, hopefully this changes. This changes on Monday in 24 hours. But in relation to Xhaka's ironically, we're about to play Man United on Monday, but Xhaka's first game as captain was in the 2-1 defeat at Old Trafford in 2018, in April that year, which is probably what I'm referring to when I said I'm sure he had a good game at Old Trafford, because here Maitland-Niles, Chambers and Mavropanos did alright in that game. Our last three captain, obviously I'm not going to bring up, but obviously we all know that if you look at the trail of the captains, many people would say it's a good thing Xhaka's going to be captain because he might get sold. Personally, I'm going to stand behind him, people. And if you look, give me a sec, I promise I'll find that United thing I had. Here it is. Oh, here it is. Manchester United are unbeaten in the last 12 Premier League games against Arsenal at Old Trafford, winning 8, drawing 4 and losing none. They lost 1-0 in 2006. We're looking to register consecutive Premier League victories over Man United for the first time since winning both matches in 06-07, which was that year. All three of Arsenal's away Premier League matches against Man United have been on different days of the week, on a Wednesday, a Sunday and a Saturday. This is only the third clash between the two sides on a Monday. We obviously drew 1-1 in 2000 and lost 1-0 in 2010. You already know about the penalty issues, people, but Arsenal have taken one penalty or faced three penalties in each of their last 4 Premier League games, and could become just the 6th consecutive side in the competition's history to see a penalty awarded in 5 successive games. This season, Man United have won the most in 4, and Arsenal have conceded the most in 3 spot kicks in the competition. So again, you could probably write individual mistakes, 60th minute, we concede a penalty. Not really sure on that stat, but this is courtesy of a well-respected stats place, so I do believe it. Manchester United have lost 3 of their last 6 Premier League home games, winning 2, drawing 1. As many as they had in their previous 52 at Old Trafford, which was winning 32, drawing 17 and losing 3. Man United have also lost their last home game against a London side. They've not lost consecutive home games against sides from the capital since 2001, where West Ham and Chelsea beat them, and obviously Palace beat them this season, which is their last defeat to a London side. Arsenal have conceded at least twice in each of their last 4 Premier League games. They have not shipped 2+ in 5 consecutive top-flight games since August 1985. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer lost his first Premier League game against Arsenal as United boss, with only 3 managers losing their first 2 league games against the Gooners, which was James West in 1900 and Tommy Docherty in 1973, and Dave Sexton in 1977-78. Some of my United fan followers that are older than me, you know who that is. Some of you might even know who it was in 1900. But yeah, man, all them guys, there's no point telling me about them. No disrespect to any of them. Obviously, Mr. Jesse Lingard, Mr. Dabbar, Mr. Snapchat Wasteman. He has a very good record against us. He's obviously scored 4 times against us for Man United in all comps, more than he has against any other previous side. So I mean, for as much as you criticise Lingard, any player that scores against their rivals is going to be loved by fans. And he's not been in the best of form, but if he starts scoring against us and ruins off our team again, he'll be adored by their fans again. Aubameyang has scored 13 goals in his last 13 starts in the Premier League, while his haul of 6 goals is the most by any Arsenal player in their first 6 games of the season since Adebayor in 2007-08. Also 6, which, to be fair, Adebayor, I mean, he was a pagan, but he was a bad boy striker if we're serious with ourselves, people. On that note, I don't think I have anything more to add. This was actually meant to just be about Xhaka, but I've spoken about Xhaka, Martinez, and we've obviously offered some other thoughts in regards to United. It's now time for me to record Arsenal's under-18s versus and the 23s games versus Wolves at 18 level and respectively against Liverpool. The grind don't stop, and neither do I. So, people, Deluded, comment, subscribe, check out my playlist, check out my Deluded podcast. Link is in the description. Make sure you take in all this content. Make sure you come in with your Q&A questions. Make sure you comment with potential topics for my podcast. I'm out. The wind seems to be belling you lot off to go as well. People, DG, I'm out. Hit the like and subscribe button. God bless.